Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the Small Business Bootcamp for this Thursday. We will get started here momentarily. We are letting everybody load into the Zoom app, and then we will start with our presentation. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective for this Thursday, February 25th. We are excited to have you here. As always, well, first I need to do an introduction. I'm Robert Theobald, the Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services, and I'm glad to be your host today. We'd like to start recognizing all of our community partners. And on this slide and the next one, these are just a sample of the community partners. We have over 100 community partners throughout the state that are helping with the boot camp. The boot camp is designed to help small businesses work through the COVID crisis, return stronger than ever, and it is a statewide initiative. Along with the boot camp, we have a resource collective, which we will talk about here shortly. So the Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective website is a great website to favorite, to save on your browser so you can find it quickly. On the website, you have the ability to register for the upcoming sessions. You can see the sessions that we have scheduled for next week, register for those. Additionally, you can go on to the Resource Collective through this website and view all the previous sessions. We've done over 125 bootcamp sessions, and we've recorded all of them, and they are available to go back and review in the archive on this webpage. You just scroll to the bottom and you'll see all the bootcamp sessions by week, and you can access all the previous sessions and review that material. So on the Resource Collective, page is set up to provide the tools and resources that our community partners have shared with us. And on this page, you can find different guides, tools, resources, information. This is just a sample list of some of the guides. You can see that we've got guidance for retail, safe retail, guidance for barbershops and cosmetologists, a guide for the restaurant industry from the National Restaurant Industry, construction, manufacturing, a guide to a workplace return. There's cleaning, safety, etc. So there's a lot of great tools available on the Resource Collective for small businesses to utilize and help grow and help with their business as we work through the COVID crisis. With that, I want to turn to some updates. Just the other day, the White House announced some changes to the PPP. And so we've included that link right here. We'll post these links in the chat box so you don't have to try to scramble and write them down. So open up your chat box and you'll see these links get posted there over the next few minutes. But with those changes, we are going to do a special PPP bootcamp session on March 3rd. So this coming Wednesday of next week to review how those changes impact small businesses of 20 employees or less. With that, the SBA, as part of those changes starting yesterday, there's an exclusive 2-week period for small businesses under 20 to apply for a PPP loan. And so it's only going to allow those businesses to be able to apply over the next 2 weeks. So that's one great piece because the SBA does want small businesses, the smallest of the small, to be able to access the program. And they are working on some additional changes to help out. And that's why we're doing a special session next week. So we'll have more information on those changes. Additionally, if you were looking at a PPP, we have our PPP lender list provided by the Arizona District Office for the SBA. They put that together and we have it listed here. And then we want to just share the COVID-19 relief options page from the SBA. There's a lot of other programs that may fit your business, such as the Shuttered Venue Operator Grant, or the debt relief. So those are programs, you can find them on this link as well. With that, you can stay informed of all things related to your business on our Arizona Business Resources page for COVID-19, azcommerce.com/COVID-19. We're constantly updating that as we have more information, but you can find business guidance, funding resources, etc. on that page. Additionally, some of the tools and resources available to small businesses provided by the ACA are small business services, and we can help small businesses work with the SBA, work with the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, which is another SBA-based no-cost mentoring program. We can help you work with local banking contacts and many other programs. Also, the Workforce Division can work with employers looking to hire new employees as they start to grow as they come out of the pandemic. And additionally, they have programs to help with upskilling employees. So some great programs there. And then our Arizona MEP, our Manufacturing Extension Partnership, is a program designed to help manufacturers throughout the state grow and address their needs. Additionally, this is a time when a lot of people are looking to start their own business, small business, side gig, large business. And starting a business can be challenging. There's just with the licensing and registration and compliance pieces. So we've created the small business checklist program to help businesses identify the commonly requested licensing information at the local, state, and federal levels. It's a great resource, very in-depth. And then finally, I want to mention the state's COVID-19 information and resource website, ArizonaTogether.org. This is more than business information. This is everything related to COVID-19. So with that, we're going to take a quick peek into next week's sessions. On Tuesday, we have Assembling a Productive Dream Team, provided by the Small Business Development Center at Yavapai College. Wednesday at 9 a.m. will be our special PPP session. We were going to have Amber Cordoba from Prestamos with us. She's done a number of our sessions. She's an expert on the topic, and we're going to be joined by Brian Quijada from the SBA as well. So we're excited about that. And then on Thursday, we're going to have implementing project plans to streamline success on the projects you may have for your business. So we've got 3 great sessions. We hope you get registered for them and join us for those. With that, we want to look at today's session. We have Michelle Eichner, co-founder and chief executive officer of Digitile. And one recent accolade that Digitile received was in the SBA's national yearly report. There were 8 Arizona businesses recognized in that, which was awesome. And Digitile was one of those. So it's a great recognition for Michelle and her team there at Digitile. And so we've got a great presentation that Michelle's put together on productivity hacks. So we're going to go ahead and turn the time over to Michelle and let you get started.
Thank you, Robert. Hey, good morning, everyone. I am going to share my screen. So we have a variety of restaurateurs, hospitality, probably small manufacturing, some startups. And so I try to gear this to a broad audience. And we're sort of a better community together than we are apart. So I'm going to go through these, and I would love for you, and as I'm going through the hacks that I'm going to share, and they're not all my hacks, I reached out to other CEOs and colleagues and acquaintances I know in the Valley for some of their input so that I wasn't just providing some of my own hacks. But I'd like you to use the chat if you have a hack that you'd be willing to talk about and share. Again, we are more successful when we learn from others and can kind of gain some insight. We are all very much probably focused on our own business, probably have, we're juggling multiple hats, wearing multiple hats. And it's hard sometimes to just find the time to be able to investigate, research, Google things that could make something that we're doing manually automated or to figure out something that can just simplify the processes. And so with that, I have put together a variety of things to talk about, and I've broken them up into a couple categories. And so today my intent is to try to cover things that are what I consider related to general business benefits and values that you may not be aware of, dive into some technology, because there's a lot of great cloud applications out there that can truly help you streamline some of your processes and help you connect, in fact, multiple solutions together without a lot of effort or know-how. Probably many of you are not technical. I'm not a techie person. I do not code or develop. I happen to be reasonably technical for a non-technical person, but nonetheless, I'm going to share things that anybody can adopt, and you do not have to have technical skills to understand these things. And then because we're all trying to improve, obviously gain awareness for the business, sell whatever product that you are overseeing and running for your day-to-day business, the last category I'm going to touch on is sales and marketing. And so diving into the general business, I'm going to talk about three aspects that I think many of you may not be aware of and can take advantage of. And starting with the top, which is a simple one, but a complex one, taxes. I don't know about you guys, but I get a boatload of paperwork, envelopes that I have to open up from the Arizona government, from the federal government, keeping tabs on just all of that documentation, frankly, and keeping up with quarterly taxes is a pain. So first, what I want to do is actually cover something that some of you may not be aware of, which is tax credits. It's funny, you may have heard about this, but you may not have a full appreciation of the value of these tax credits. Arizona and the federal government have a R&D tax credit. So in Arizona specifically, there are different qualifications on what you can write off, or you can get a tax credit on aspects of your business. I am not a tax expert. I am going to give you a resource, the resources that I use to go about this process to even understand whether or not you qualify. So I am in the software business. To back up, Digitile. What is Digitile? I started a software business that lets you easily organize your files that reside in Google Drive or Dropbox by letting you tag your files. We all use a folder structure, and as our teams get bigger, you've got folders and subfolders, and it's very hard to find your files. So Digitile created an application that essentially allows you to organize those files through tags, and then it gives you a very simple search engine to go find that. Point in sharing that is all the development work that we did to bring this to life, and it's ongoing. Our product continues to evolve. So this isn't a one-time credit. Every year we can qualify. And so this year we qualified for a $38,000 tax credit through this R&D tax credit of the state of Arizona. It is a check, it is cash. So you have to go through the process to see if you're qualified. Again, I am not a tax expert who does this. There's a firm here, and I have a resource at the very back of this deck of the people that essentially walk me through this. It doesn't even cost you money to find out if you qualify. These people, I've dealt with Tiffany here at the bottom, and she, over the phone, walked me through a series of questions that they have, and based on sort of back of the envelope math, they were actually able to determine that we were absolutely eligible, what parts of the business could be essentially qualified, and they ran through a process, and it took maybe about a month of back and forth and answering questions and filling out some basic paperwork, worth every penny, $38,000, which just goes to the bottom line, right? And it's wonderful. Now, from the federal government, it's an identical process. So if you go through it, you can determine whether or not you qualify for state and fed. But the Fed, it reduces your, for those of you who are apply quarterly taxes, it comes off your FICO. So on the federal side, off the top of my head, I think we save about $25,000 in essentially quarterly FICO taxes. So each quarter, I take a reduction of about $4,000 to $5,000 off of our quarterly taxes. Again, there's paperwork involved, but worth every cent, of my time to get back $25,000 for the business. So between these two, Digitile's bottom line gained a significant savings by going through this R&D tax credit. So I share that. Now, here's something a little bit more simple on the taxes and paperwork. Again, if you're a business owner, you get tons of paperwork from the state and the Fed. I have gone through to the point where there are times when something doesn't get filed correctly or get filed on time. Things happen in the business. Maybe you underpaid or overpaid, right? There's all sorts of things. I found I was doing repetitive tasks manually and like having to re-look up certain information about Arizona or federal government. I one day just sat down and said, this is silly. I need to stop repeating these processes. And I just created a simple hack for myself, which is a document that I have that keeps, every time I have to do something related to taxes, I document who I spoke with or who, kind of what the office is, what the mailing address is, what form I had to fill out, where I get these things, so that when I have to do it again, which inevitably there are times I have to repeat these things, I have somewhere to go. I am not wasting my time. This seems like a silly hack, but some of these things are just putting a process in place. And for this was such a simple one, but I needed to eliminate something that was wasting my time. And if you've ever read through, Arizona, the documentation for Arizona or Fed on filling out a 1099 or a 941, those forms are a pain to read through. And so, if you just jot down kind of the key information, when you may need it again, it is worth kind of going through that effort. So that was a very simple hack, but nonetheless, I wanted to share it. Okay, so another interesting hack is resources and training. So the other thing I find is, as our businesses grow, as small companies, it is hard to put a training program together. It is hard to take the time to sit down and think about the things that, what is it that I would want to do to train my employees? And so a tool that I started to use, and it is a very simple tool, allowed me to create videos of me doing it. And so rather than documenting on paper, as an example, my colleagues and I, my co-founder and I, have created a series of, so I use this product called Loom. It's, I think, $10 a month kind of thing. And we've created categories. And depending on the video, right, it may fall into, and then we also use this tool to train our customers on how to use our product and communicate. If there's a bug in our system, we will create a Loom video. And so just to sort of show it to you, I've got prospect videos that I create, and I have them for different categories. And let me see if I have something in them, some of these. I just created these, I have a bunch under my personal account here. But I create a bunch of these videos, and it's my application, and I won't turn it on, but I want to bring it up. I am here, this is actually my colleague, but like if I were to start to play it, it is us talking to them. It is us walking them through. This is an incredible sales and marketing tool, but additionally, we use this for training. So when I can't sit down to think about and document and put on paper all the things that I need, I had new salespeople starting, I was able to create short Loom videos that help me explain, here's what you do, when you first get a new customer, or a new prospect. Videoing yourself helps you document the process and then gives your employees something that you can pass along. So this is a very inexpensive solution to helping you expand your training, particularly during the remote time for those of you that don't even work in the same office anymore. I wanted to share that. The other thing I've become very scrappy about is discounts. And so I have a bunch of examples, and I think this will be interesting for you. But for startups, for small businesses, you would be shocked how many companies out there offer discounts, startup packaging, if you will. So this is HubSpot, for example. They do marketing automation, sales automation solutions. You can get 90% off their list price. Most people don't know to look for discounts for startups, for new businesses. I brought up HubSpot. Another one is a company called Intercom, which is a live chat solution. We use these. The discounts are amazing. We use these products for sometimes 1 year, 2 years before we actually have to start paying full rate. And sometimes it's a scale. As your business grows, it'll start to charge you more. You just have to look for these things. But we have saved our business probably thousands of dollars a month. So Intercom, we use live chat for both our like you go to our public website, you can live chat us to ask us questions about the product. If you use our application, you can live chat us to ask us questions about support. So we use it in 2 ways, but it is a massive save. And by the way, I have the application on my laptop or on my phone. And so I'm not tied to my desk, and I've been able to run our business, whether I'm at home at night, which I usually have my laptop, but like if I'm out running errands and I'm in the grocery store and I get a sales lead or I get a support question, I could be on the golf course, which I just finally started getting myself back out golfing. I have done this. I've responded to customer support questions while golfing. So it's kind of an interesting hack. There are a whole bunch of applications that I have running on my phone and that I'm not tied to my desk, and I can take care of business just by even installing a phone version, if you will, of any of these applications. And it just frees me to essentially, you wouldn't know it, but I could literally be at the grocery store. I could be at the gym, and it's a nice hack. Okay, another company that offers discounts, and I wanted to share this one, it's a company called Segment, and for those that have a lot of data in their business and they need to route their data to a bunch of different systems, it is what's called a message bus, and it's really just it routes data to different solutions and allows you to very easily connect your data into other solutions. So it's a very interesting product. They offer a discount for small companies. Take advantage of it if you need to connect data that you just don't know how to connect. Okay, those are kind of my hacks for general business and things that you can do to take advantage of different general business hacks. Then I'm going to get into more specific technology, and I know it probably sounds like I've got a lot of tech hacks. I probably do, but what I found is that technology, again, even though you may not be technology savvy, there is a lot of tech out here you can take advantage of that isn't hard to learn. And I've used to leverage YouTube videos a lot on setting some of these things up, because regular people like you and me create videos to make it easy, and it makes it very doable to implement. So another hack I wanted to share with you and show is Zapier. And many people don't know about Zapier, but Zapier allows you to easily, with a point and click method, connect to systems. And let me give you one that was really helpful for me. So I have a credit card processing application called Stripe. Probably a lot of people might use Stripe to process their invoices and credit card payments. And I needed to figure out how to get, when someone makes a charge in Digitile through Stripe, how to get that into QuickBooks. So we use QuickBooks to manage all of our accounting and our records. At first, I was very challenged in thinking about how to do this, and I stumbled on, somebody put a video on YouTube on how to connect Stripe and QuickBooks and the exact invoice and order that I needed to get into QuickBooks. So I used Zapier, and it was a point and click methodology where I sort of just went into the Stripe, they call them zaps, essentially. They have thousands and thousands of applications that you can connect. Some of them are free. Like a lot of them are free. Let me say it that way. And you don't need to pay. There are certain that are premium. The one I was actually using turned out to be premium, but it was worth it. And premium, I think, might have been $10 a month or something. But I was able to get all of these orders directly into QuickBooks, which saved me manual time from having to get some of this data into QuickBooks. Lots of little things that just save me time that I can focus on the business and not have to worry about. So I recommend you looking, because there are probably applications that you wish you could connect the data from one system. And this is easier to use even than Segment. Segment is if you had bigger data, big volumes of analytical data and customer data that you want to move around. These are like, I want to take an alert from one system and have it Slack it to me. So for those of you who might use Slack, or for those who aren't familiar with it, it is a chat tool. Well, what we've done is we've connected certain systems that can alert me that there's a problem and send me a Slack notification. And so again, I have Slack on my phone. I can be anywhere and get that notice that I've got something that I need to pay attention to. So Zapier is a tool that can become your friend. And like I said, it is honestly made for people who don't know how to code, have no development experience, and you may be frustrated you can't get information from one system to another. This tool probably can connect it, and it is a true, simple, like drag left and right and just tell it what you need and it does it for you. They pre-built all the integrations. Okay, we do a lot of thinking at Digitile. We do a lot of whiteboarding. I don't know how your businesses work, but like you just want to whiteboard and think things through and kind of, I'll sort of say, use the concept of a flow chart. We have adopted a technology called Miro. Miro is like a mind map tool. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of it. Again, very easy to learn. We mapped essentially the flow of our customer experience and what emails and what in-app messaging they're going to get. And you just kind of help flow through this process. I'll show you an alternative, which is we needed to think through how some data flowed through our system and kind of what process we were going to put in place for some connections between servers. We mapped it first to understand it. And what's great about Miro is it's very fluid. It allows you to use templates. So I now went to sort of the main page. You can start with a template. You don't have to create your own from scratch. You can have, we put together a very simple, these are a bunch of the templates we have, and we put together like an org chart. Now this is, I'm gonna show it to you. It's a very simple org chart right now. We have 10 people, we actually need to expand this, but this is what our org chart looks like. You know, we just needed to put on paper kind of who reports to who as we start to expand. And we just threw a little mind map together to help us identify what that flow looked like. So I highly recommend Miro. It is super easy to learn. You can start with one of these templates. They have something for just about everything you want to do. And it's a point and click as well. So since COVID, many of you, like myself, had to move from being in the office to being remote. I actually got this hack from somebody else. This is not one of mine, but they love Clockify. And it is an application in which they set up for themselves and their employees where they can track time. They can help have a sense of what's going on for the team activity, who's doing what. So I wanted to share this. I know we're hopefully moving out of kind of, being away from home, but a lot are in the home, but there's definitely a lot of businesses that are still being remote, and some of you may plan to stay remote. This may be a really interesting application to try yourself and determine, what it's like, and then decide if it's something you want your whole team to add. But being that we are in the sort of still semi-lockdown, I wanted to share a remote hack on how you can kind of keep tabs of your employees. So how many times have you met somebody and you forgot to get the business card, or you kind of want to introduce yourself, because maybe you're thinking about partnering with them and you want to make an introduction email. I found hunter.io, and it's super nice, and it gives you a lot of information. And it gives you the email address of people. So what I like about this one, actually, I type in the name, the domain. So I'm going to type in digitile.io, and you'll see it gives me what I need to know. So if I was trying to get in touch with someone in this organization, it tells you what the pattern is so that you can easily go send them an email and introduce yourself. This is handy. Like I said, I've met people and I've spaced on getting the card, and I want to get a hold of them, and I'll just, that was free, by the way. You can also use their pricing plan. They give you something like $25 a month. They do have a pricing plan. You can use this certainly for sales as well, and upgrade your account. And I don't know, I think a couple thousand is like the next tier, etc. But this is a nice hack. Like I said, if you just need to get in touch with someone and learn what their email address is. In fact, they even have a service where they'll validate the email works. So if you upgrade, you can even get the validation. Okay, another interesting hack. Signatures in the email are super important. They're your brand, they're your company brand. We want them to look good. We want them maybe to sell your business, and people forward those things, right? So you want a really good looking signature. A lot of companies don't have the resources to design a good signature, and often don't even know how to create a good signature. So a friend of mine in Arizona uses this. We actually have someone on site who has the resources to do this and the know-how, but it is a very nice, simple, inexpensive way to get a signature done that you like, that will properly address and give the right attention to your brand. And whether it's you as a solo entrepreneur or for the entire organization, to gain consistency so that you always have the same look and feel. Y-Stamp is, I actually went through it and used it just to experiment with it. It is a really slick application and super simple to implement. So again, my goal is to just kind of expose everybody to interesting little hacks that can help improve your business or the brand and how you present that business. So the next one is a little bit deeper than Hunter. Hunter gave me the email address, but what if I want to call somebody? So I discovered this truepeople.com, or truepeoplesearch.com. It is a free application, and I can enter in my name, my location, and it will give me the telephone number. And so if I now want to see, and I have to pick, this one happens to be me, and I wanted you to see it. This is actually my personal address. This is my cell, my landlines, easy way to get hold of somebody. So if you're in sales, or again, you're trying to speak to somebody and partner with somebody or do business with somebody, another little simple resource to help you hack on how to get through and get their information. And it's open source, no cost involved, and kind of a simple one. So I've actually kind of mirrored, I've kind of moved in. This was my technology hacks, and I've moved into, I created the sales column here and a marketing column. So I've kind of dug into all of these. So when we think about sales and marketing, which is why some of these are more sales marketing oriented, but when we think about sales and marketing, we may want to reach out to not just onesies and twosies, right? We want to connect with thousands and sometimes tens of thousands. So for not a lot of money, a couple $100 a month, you could get this product called seamless.ai. And I actually have the account, but it gives you everything. So you could look things up by industry, you can look things up by company, you can look up things as far as like I look at what technology a company might have. So something important to Digitile might be, are you using Google Drive? And I can get that through this. Are you using Shopify? Meaning is if you're an e-commerce company, is your shop hosted by Shopify? So you can do different types of searches for, and you can do demographics. And so if you have a particular industry vertical that you're trying to market to, you can get, an entire vertical, and then within that vertical, you can look at everybody in that company. It gives you the name, the title, the email address, phone numbers, and it's a, all-in-one model versus kind of one-off, picking and choosing to use Hunter plus True People search. But this one, gives you kind of a holistic. It's more pricey than the others, even if you buy the other ones, because you're getting everything in what I like to say, one swing of the bat for you baseball fans, rather than having to, kind of go from base to base by using multiple applications to get you there, which is why I wanted to show you both kind of the free resources as well as something that could do it all in one swoop, right? So another one related to sales is this concept of, so it costs money for you or your salespeople to actually dial the phone. And it's been proven, and there's math around just the amount of time that we spend, having to look something up and dial. And so as your business gets bigger and you want to start dialing higher volumes of leads, this phone burner is a nice solution. And I know I got this actually as a hack through several companies in the Valley here. They've introduced this concept into their workflow, their sales workflow, which just eliminates a step. And mathematically, right, if you're running a business that runs on cold calls and you need to have so many calls per day, and if you can reduce the amount of time just to dial, and you get through more than one or two people as a result, it works out mathematically, depending on kind of probably your cost per lead. But nonetheless, this is an interesting solution that has streamlined our sales process. And we're actually going to be introducing this. When I went asking other people in the Valley who had hacks and told them what I was doing here today, multiple people had mentioned this, so I wanted to bring it up. Okay, getting back to branding. So I'm kind of over here now. We often want to create really nice looking graphics and things that we don't have the skills for, we don't have the tools to do, we don't own maybe Adobe software. And we want to be able to create nice looking material. There are two companies that offer the concept of freelancers. And you can get anything on either of these companies' sites. So I'm introducing two. One is Fiverr and one is Kimp. And I'll describe the difference. Like we created a video and we needed a voiceover. It was like $100 to get a very professional voiceover done on the video, because we didn't want that voice to be one of us. We want to seem bigger. We create blogs. We wanted to get a nicer looking image for our blog. We have outsourced design work through Fiverr. Sometimes these things are really inexpensive, shockingly. When I reached out to my colleagues to ask about their hacks this week, someone said they got their logo design here and and their logo looks amazing, and it cost them $50 to have this done. So if you don't use Fiverr, I highly recommend it. We have used it for the last probably 2 or 3 years, on and off for different projects, and they cover everything. So it's an amazing resource. The reason I brought Kimp up is it is a bit more expensive and it's a bit higher. And I should say something about Fiverr, but so you're going to want to pay attention to the ratings and find those that have higher ratings and leverage those ratings. They're really important, so read through them. KIMP is a bit of a higher end freelancer, and so the quality of work is more costly, but it's a higher, they source them and they come with kind of a higher list of like brands that they've done business with. So it's not all done by ratings, which I guess ratings could be somewhat, faked in a way. But so they do some more, understanding and kind of vet these people in a little bit different way. Like in Fiverr, they're not vetted, they're vetted by the community, where KIMP does some of the vetting in addition to the community. Okay, back on the marketing track here. I want to talk about growth hack, and I don't know if everyone on the phone knows this term, but we all, every day we wake up and how am I going to grow my business? How am I going to sell more? Whatever your product is, you need to sell your product, right? Something I started very early in Digitile was what's called growth hacking. We didn't have money to market the business, and I needed to be able to gain awareness for what it is we do. And there's some really easy methods to doing this by injecting yourself into conversations in Quora and Reddit. And it may seem silly, but I brought up my account, and I brought up my, I'll say, all-time, I guess, lifetime. I've only been doing this for a couple of years, but I find questions that I want to inject into the conversation, something very thought leadership-ish that typically drives people back to Digitile. So we write blogs at Digitile about topics on organizing Google Drive, organizing Dropbox, organizing Gmail, which are generic enough that I can answer questions on Quora where people are trying to find out very specific things about those topics. And when I do it, I bring that link from my website, that particular blog post, into my answer. And so of my answers, I've gotten 137,000 views. I get some upvotes on this. But more importantly, when I look at the analytics data of who's come to Digitile and who's created an account, we draw every week. And this builds, by the way. So these are all the questions that I've answered over the course of a couple of years. And some draw more than others. And but every week we get at least a couple dozen leads just from my answering questions through Quora. So you can do this on Reddit. If I focus more on Quora, my colleague kind of does the Reddit one, so we can divide and conquer a little bit. And it is a really good way to drive leads in a subtle, soft sell approach. If you have something to teach, it is you naturally know how to write about it. It's not complex to do, and you just pick things that you want to answer. And then you can also ask questions that are leading people, and then eventually kind of chime in to the questions that you ask. So you can direct the conversation in that way as well. Okay, something else tech-wise, and this goes to if you have a software solution or a website, and again, you're not technical and you need to kind of add more color to promoting something. Maybe you have an offer, maybe you have some kind of discount, maybe you have a blog you want to promote. This was a hack that another company in town recommended, and it's really slick. I checked it out. But this allows you to easily add a banner into your public website, or if you actually have a web application like Digitile, without coding. And what do I mean? So at the top of the page here, and you can kind of see an example here, it will allow you to put a banner at the very top. And maybe you want to highlight something about your business that people wouldn't otherwise see because it's not as noticeable buried within the pages. You want to draw attention to it, and it will allow you to put a banner kind of in different places. It'll allow you to put it below and above the fold. Without a lot of effort, this can be implemented, and it is slick. We actually used it just recently we actually have it as a part of our live chat. It is just built into Intercom. We use Intercom, as I said, for our live chat for both sales and support. We actually had a bug in our system, and we used a banner at the very top when you log in that communicated we had this bug. Additionally, we are about to test on our public website the banner, and we're going to do a promotion, and then we're going to test this banner on did it drive more traffic? Did that promotion and did that banner, because we're going to put the promotion in a couple places, the banner, and then we're going to bury it where we normally would bury it, and then we're going to run some tests to see what was the effectiveness of that. So this is an interesting one. The other one I want to share, because many of us use Google Analytics, and you use Google. There are things about Google Analytics I've discovered that a lot of business owners don't know about that can help them understand more about the people that visit their website. So this is Digitile's site. I happen to be on the blog page, and I want you to see, we write a lot of blogs, organizing Google Drive, managing assets. We have something for our Shopify. We have a lot of Shopify companies that come to us around tagging. But all of this, if you use Google Analytics tracks essentially if people come to your blog pages. And this is one where I ran a date range from January to current. And I'm going to show you some hidden gold in Google Analytics. If you use Google Analytics, if you don't use Google Analytics and use another tool, I'm sure it's in there. I just don't know all the analytic tools out there. But it is a very interesting tool. So under Google Analytics, under this header called acquisition, and under acquisition, something called Search Console, and under Search Console is landing pages. I can see these blogs, and I can get the basic traffic data. That's not, I mean, this is interesting, but it's not where the gold is. The gold is when I drill one step further. I can see the actual keywords people are typing to find where my article comes up. So for me and Digitile, organizing Google Drive is a really popular phrase. So literally, we have, in this case, there were 11,000 people in this date range that typed in their Google search bar, Google Drive. You know, if I keep going, right, how to organize Google Drive, there are, call it 2,500 meaning people that are typing that phrase. From that, Digitile actually had 83 people click on that blog post, one of these blog posts down here, this particular blog post. Of that, I can then drill into how many of our leads created an account. So why this is important is this will help you understand what keywords people are using to come to your website, and like first, like, what are the keywords they're looking up in Google? That's step one. Of those words, which ones are actually driving people to click? So at the bottom here, number 7 and number 8. Look at number 7, Google Drive tags. We're the only company that really offers this concept. You can clearly see we have 300 people just since January that have clicked on our blog post article. So if I literally brought up a Google search and I wrote organize Google Drive, and I scroll down, Digitile's on this page, it was Google Digitile, it literally was when I did this earlier, probably because I just went to it, but Google Digitile was like in 3rd place. And this tells you my page rank. We average page rank, and this tells you we typically are the 1st or 2nd position. Oh, I know what it is. This is Google Drive. I wrote the phrase wrong, right? So Google Drive tags. So if I type Google Drive tags, there it is. There we are. We're first. We have an ad, and we don't have an ad. This is the actual blog. So this is gold. This is what's going to help you really appreciate what are people doing to find things related to your business, and then ultimately how you use this information is important, because maybe these are the words that you should be injecting on your website to get more traffic, and that is the goal, right? Drive more business. and bring more people to your public website. That is the goal we are all here to do, is pepper those words. And I have, these words kind of peppered throughout Digitile's website. So with that, I know we're kind of at the hour. I want to leave some time and see, Robert, if there were questions.
All right. If you have questions for Michelle, please post them in the Q&A. I'll be glad to get those. A lot of great hacks, a lot of great ideas. I was favoriting a bunch of those websites as we were going along and saving them in my hacks folder under bookmarks, so I can go back to them and take a deeper look at them. But a lot of great information. So again, please post up in the Q&A any questions you have, or if you have a hack that you want to mention, post that in the chat. And because I'm sure some of you out there have hacks that didn't get mentioned that would be of value to everybody on the call here. So please share that information. And
Robert, I put the domain of the hack in this PowerPoint. So for those people who get a copy of the PowerPoint, it is all in here. I even actually put the name of the company for the R&D tax credit on the very last page, which I forgot to show everybody, of the specific person that I dealt with. So the deck has every resource that I just showed you as well.
Here's a good question. It says, in recording conversations with customers, do you have to ask them if you can record, any privacy concerns?
So it depends on what I'm going to do with that video. Let me say it that way. If the video is for me, for internal, sometimes I'll video things depending on what I'm doing, more for my own edification of remembering, so I don't have to write everything down. In those cases, I don't. If I'm going to use the video from a training perspective to train my colleagues, I will absolutely courtesy let that person know and let them know how I'm going to use it. I've never created a video that I'll say, that would go public, meaning outside my four walls, in which I wouldn't like I've always asked on those things. So that's how I treat those scenarios. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions? Please share. One thing, Michelle, I like that you said early on that I think is a great piece for small business owners to remember is, don't be afraid to ask your colleagues for some of their hacks. What are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? It's always great to learn from what other people are doing and pick up some new ideas. I'm not the most creative person, but I definitely like to borrow other people's ideas. So
yeah, like I said, I reached out to a bunch of people to get hacks that I wasn't aware of, and I was excited to learn about several of these. They, like I said, I was not aware of some of these things, and it was fun actually having the conversation because I learned about new things.
Excellent. Have a little note from Scott in the chat box. Just thanks, Michelle. Some very good tools that will definitely help productivity. So appreciate that.
Great.
Cindella, thank you for your comments as well. Rich as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up a few minutes early, let everybody gain a few minutes or have some bathroom time before their next meeting if they got another one like me coming up. So we appreciate everybody for being here with us today. We appreciate Michelle and her time and the effort to put this together and get those hacks and talk to others and share all this information with us. Very good information.
Thank you.
We want to remind everybody about Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. is our next boot camp session. Please join us for that. Until then, everybody have a safe weekend. Enjoy the great weather that we've got, and we will see you on Tuesday. Thank you.